Okay, today we really want to speak to you about the three top reasons that plant foods can actually heal you, right? And are you missing out? Now, these aren't necessarily secrets, but I'm going to explain it to you in a way I hope that will maybe give you more of an aha moment. Because when it comes to understanding the entire whole food plant based diet, which is fruits, veggies, beans, whole grains, nuts, and seeds, it really can be quite amazing how they can reverse chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, weight loss. One of my patients lost over 350 pounds. I've seen patients stop three prescription medications for hypertension in 30 days. I've interviewed her on the podcast. Also, Nikki Cruz, who lost the 350 pounds. I've had to stop with the type 2 diabetic insulin, 60 units of insulin within 72 hours. The incredible power of plant foods in reversing chronic disease is undeniable. And but really important thing here is to understand that you too can do it, right? That the food on your plate has a power to reverse most of these common conditions. And again, this has to be a diet that's rich in whole plant foods, not the processed or ultra processed plant-based diet foods that we see on the market right now. And so if you're interested in learning the three secrets, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to transition, just three important steps you can start taking today, hang on to the end. But just real quickly, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dr. Lori Marbus. I'm a board certified family and lifestyle medicine physician who's been on a plant-based journey myself for almost 13 years, just about 13 years. And I am licensed to see patients in every single state of the country and DC. And I've seen plant-based patients in every state, literally thousands of patients over the last 13 years. And I've been a physician for over 2 decades. So I have tons of experience and understanding and knowledge regarding the science of the plant-based diet, what its practical use can be, and all those things around chronic disease. So let's dive right in, because I really hope this encourages you, if you haven't started a plant-based diet, to definitely think about adding more plants and more fiber to your diet on a daily basis. So let's talk about the power of whole foods to start with. Whole plant foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds are nutrient-dense powerhouses. And I really want to emphasize the word nutrient-dense, okay? That is really important. They are naturally high in fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients while being free of cholesterol and low in saturated fats. Now, this is a unique combination that directly supports the body's healing processes. So I like to think of the body as a symphony, right? And so as long as we start giving it all the inputs, we give it the violins and the horns and all those the strings, give everybody, everything they need, they play beautifully together. The body knows what to do. But when we start adding in some extra, throwing in things that the body doesn't need, the body has to figure out what to do with it because it's always trying to get in balance. That's when disease can set in. And this includes, like I mentioned, any of these ultra processed vegan mock foods. They say plant-based, but they're not whole food plant-based, right? Really looking at your labels are going to be important. If your grandmother could understand what was on a label, that's probably good, or your great-grandmother, because they're whole food. You don't need to be a chemist to understand the wording and the label, and you shouldn't have numbers with dashes and strange chemical names in our food. It just shouldn't be that way. So what are the top 3 reasons that you see plants help reverse chronic disease? We're going to jump into it right now. Number 1 is reversing insulin resistance, okay? Insulin resistance is a key driver of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. How many of us know someone who's dealing with one of these chronic diseases, if not yourself? I know I obviously know lots of folks, but in our personal lives, it seems like more and more people are coming up and saying, yeah, I've been put on a new medication for my diabetes or my pre-diabetes, or I'm looking to, start one of these new drugs to help me lose weight, but we're never addressing the root cause. And this is the issue. Now, what causes insulin resistance? Well, it occurs when the body cells stop responding effectively to insulin, leading to elevated blood sugar levels. Okay, so whole plant foods tackle this issue in a few really important key ways. Number one is fiber to the rescue, right? So foods that are high in fiber, such as beans, oats, and leafy greens, slow the absorption of sugar into our bloodstream. That stabilizes blood sugar and reduces insulin spikes. Number two is fat quality matters. So diets high in saturated fats, primarily from animal products or the ultra-processed foods, can increase insulin resistance. Now, plant-based diets, on the other hand, are naturally low in saturated fats and free of harmful trans fats. There's also phytonutrients for cellular repair. Now, compounds like flavonoids and carotenoids found in colorful fruits and vegetables improve insulin sensitivity and reduce oxidative stress in cells. Now, what does the science say? Well, studies show that plant-based diets can reduce hemoglobin A1C, which is again a key marker of blood sugar control, over about 90 to 120 days, and in some cases, absolutely even reverse type 2 diabetes. And I would say for the most part, I've seen people either reverse type 2 diabetes, certainly reverse prediabetes, but absolutely can reverse type 2 diabetes or at least dramatically decrease their amount of medication that they're on. What would be the drivers of whether they can or can't, or at least reduce medication, is one, compliance, the severity and longevity of the actual disease in their body. And really, it's just a matter of their attitude. Do they have the right mindset to find that every action that they take can either hinder or, make their healing more likely to occur? So again, it all starts with the mindset, which will lead you to the action. So you have to believe that you can actually get better, because you absolutely can. But again, it gets to that whole saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. Number two is reducing chronic inflammation. So chronic inflammation is a silent contributor to many diseases, right? Including arthritis, heart disease, and even cancer. So unlike acute inflammation, which helps the body heal, chronic inflammation is like a fire that just keeps smoldering and damaging the tissues and organs over time. And it just continues to spread organ to organ, tissue to tissue, and cell to cell. So how do whole food plant-based foods help with this? Let's talk about that. One, you have antioxidant rich foods. Now, plant-based diets are loaded with what we describe as antioxidants. These neutralize free radicals and these molecules that kind of fuel inflammation. You can think about berries, dark green leafies, and nuts, for example, would be an amazing source of antioxidants. Next would be omega-3s from plants. You have chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts provide anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, or ALA, right? They help balance the pro-inflammatory omega-6 fats found in processed or ultra-processed foods. Now let's talk about the gut health connection, right? So fiber from the whole foods feeds healthy gut bacteria, which play a really crucial role in decreasing your systemic inflammation. So a thriving gut microbiome produces short-chain fatty acids that dampen inflammatory signals throughout the entire body. Now, a study published in Nutrients found that a plant-based diet significantly reduced markers of inflammation, such as CRP, which is C-reactive protein, in as little as 8 weeks. And I will tell you, one of my first cases with the plant-based diet with my patients was 13 years ago with this patient with lupus, who after 2 weeks, her CRP dropped 300%. So, and she was on medications that supposedly decrease inflammation by suppressing the immune system. And I will tell you, nothing like that, nothing prepared me to see that happen. But when I did see it, I was 100% convinced. And so it just goes to show, the more you add these amazing plant foods to your plate, the better off you're going to be, regardless of your health. Number three is the synergy of whole foods, right? The magic of plant-based diet really lies in its holistic approach. Rather than isolating nutrients, you benefit from the synergy of the whole foods working together. For example, flavonoids and fiber. Flavonoids in fruits and vegetables combat inflammation, while fiber helps eliminate the waste products and excess hormones that would otherwise fuel disease. And next we have vitamins and minerals. So let's talk about magnesium, for example, which is found in those dark green leafy vegetables. It supports over 300, that's right, 300 enzymatic processes in the body, including those that regulate blood sugar and inflammation. So, right there is just those three top reasons: reversing insulin resistance, reducing chronic inflammation, and the synergy of whole foods. Now, I'm going to talk to you just about three steps you can take to really just kind of think about the practical transition of incorporating more plants into your diet. So, because it doesn't have to be overwhelming, you're just going to start small and build momentum. First of all, just add more plants, right? So make half your plate vegetables or salad at every meal. Two is replace the ultra processed foods. So swipe out white bread and sugary snacks for maybe whole grain options and fresh fruits. And finally, three is really experiment with the legumes and beans. Try lentils, black beans, or chickpeas as a protein source instead of meat. Now, if you found that when you eat beans that it's a little much for you, your poor gut, let's try going back down to lentils and start with a small amount. I would say either an eighth of a cup or 1/4 of a cup at a time, well cooked and maybe even blended, and just gently getting your body used to the amount of fiber that comes with these amazing foods. And over time, anywhere between, I would say, some people it's 2 weeks, some people it's 6 weeks, sometimes it's a little bit longer, upwards of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Over time, you will be able to add more and more of those foods, and you will have less and less of those symptoms. Now, if you continue to have symptoms, that is a discussion. There might be something else going on. But for the most part, just introducing slowly this incredible, amazing thing called fiber that might help some tremendously with some of the gas and bloating that some people experience when they first go all in. And so finally, just remember the plant-based diet isn't just another trend, right? It's a scientifically backed approach to healing chronic health issues and preventing disease. So embracing the whole food, you're giving your body tools it needs to repair, regenerate, and thrive. And so that's the really important piece here. And if you're ready to take the next step and learn even more, feel free to join my free masterclass with Brittany Giroudi. It's called Plant-Based 101, Lose Weight and Reverse Chronic Disease. You're going to learn some of the top mistakes people make in their plant-based journey. You're going to learn our 4-step process framework to really look how you start a plant-based diet and continue to go through the plant-based diet and absolutely thrive. And then learn the one thing that can really either make or break your plant-based journey. And it has literally nothing to do with what's on your plate, your recipes, the food, nothing. But if you don't have this start in the starting point, you might find it more difficult to stay on a plant-based diet when things get a little challenging, especially when it comes to family and community and struggles like travel and such, just because it's like, I would think of it as a world with someone who lives with a disability, right? The world is not built for people who have disabilities. And I'm not saying going on a plant-based diet is the similar, but the world's not made to help everyone who has different, dietary choices. So you have to plan and think ahead. And I wish I could say every restaurant or every store you go into is just going to be full of whole plant foods, but we're not there yet. But I'm hoping we will as we continue to spread the word and help people, heal and find that they can have long, healthy, sustainable lives. I look at Dr. Esselstyn, who just turned 92, is a wonderful, wonderful example of how someone can lead a very long-lived, healthy, whole plant food life, right? And so I hope you will join us. The link is down below. Oh, also, we just published our first book at the beginning of the month. It's called Plant-Based 101. And again, that is really the ultimate guide for mastering the plant-based diet, because we talk about everything that you have to go searching the internet for, right? So how do you start? What is it? And what labs should you get? Goodness, what do you do if you're traveling? What if you're pregnant? What if you're raising kids? How to transition kids? How to deal with all the different social situations. We literally made this a go-to manual, and there is some recipes, about 30 or so, but it's meant more to be a beautiful approach to understanding the plant-based diet for a quick answer to some of those questions that you might have, or something that you can share with someone who may be struggling or interested in starting a plant-based diet, this is a great way to introduce them to it. So that link is also below. So thank you again for being here. As always, I'm sending my gratitude, my joy, love, and healing to you. And yes, I think we all need more of that healing in this world. So I hope you have the rest of your day is just absolutely beautiful. Thanks.